My name is Destiny Deutsch.
Cameron Woods.
Kiana Wilkes.
Willie Crew up to 4th.
It was college night at Renaissance, and you were there.
My friend had joined. I was skeptical at first. I was like, no Army. And then I met my recruiter. And he talked me into it.
You came to one of our on-site admissions at my high school, and you had a big sign up with National Guard on it.
I was doing a JRTC program in high school, and one of the days the recruiters came up there to talk about the Guard, and that was the first time I heard of it.
I joined for school. I needed money for school, and I did not like filling out scholarships.
To help pay for college.
One, I kind of needed a way to pay for college, and two, I just wanted to be a part of something bigger than myself.
Because I was bored at home. I wanted to try something new. I like doing stuff that people say I can't do. And everybody said I couldn't do it. And I did it. I'm proud of myself. I'm about to cry.
It was easy. The hardest part was they asked a lot of questions about like mechanics and stuff like that, about cars and tools, and I didn't know none of that stuff. But other than that, it was pretty easy.
It was cool. Not as bad as people made it seem.
ASVAB test was easy. I didn't really have no issues with it.
A couple months. But it wasn't on my part, it was on my parents' part. I wasn't 18 yet, so my parents had to sign off on me for me. I met my recruiter on Halloween and joined in February. So, a couple months.
I think too much because I was really skeptical about it.
4 months after I met.
About like 3 months.
Beautiful. I love the food. That was the best part. It was free food.
It was fancy. I slept great.
It was cool. The food was good.
MEPS Hotel was alright. You were able to meet a couple of people that were also going through the same thing as you, so it wasn't like you were just thrown into something all confused, whatever it is. Had nice food, had a nice room. It was pretty fine.
It was just a long day. It was cold in the place, but I couldn't even wear a sweater. I wore a sweater, but they told me to take it off because I had to get the stuff done. So it was just a very long day.
I mean, they made it comfortable. It wasn't awkward or nothing.
It was very rushed. It was long. It was tedious, but eventually I got through it.
Experience is pretty fine. Honestly, you just kind of go through all the procedures. They do the checkups and stuff.
It wasn't that bad. I think the hardest part for me was adjusting to always sitting around waiting, or waking up early in the morning the next day, or all the physical activity that they had us doing. That was probably the hardest part.
My first RSP drill, it was my first and my last one. I was really out of shape, so I could only do 4 push-ups and like 16 sit-ups, and I couldn't run at all. But the food was okay.
It was my first time being introduced to the front leaning rest, so that was the first physical exercise I pretty much ever got, and yeah, it was easy, but it was physically exhausting.
My first RSP drill. Honestly, I was nervous because I didn't really know what to expect. I kind of went in really nervous, but once the day went on, it got better.
The best part was the fact that I was there with my friends, so we kind of made it fun.
The people.
I met a lot of people who had the same mentality as I.
Afternoon PT.
The worst part had to be learning how to make a MRE, heating up the foot. That was the worst part because I hate MREs. And
What's an MRE?
an MRE is basically food in a bag that you eat when you don't have regular food.
Well, I wasn't in shape, so that was the worst part, doing the exercises.
Doing the PT test first thing in the morning.
Worst part of RSP when you first get there, doing all the paperwork, going through the whole motion over and over every month.
They were pretty much easy. After that first one, I kind of got used to the routine. Get there, sign in, wait, go up, line up, sign in, wait again, PT, wait again. It just pretty much got easier after that.
After your first one, it's just pretty breezy. You know what it's gonna be like. You know what you gotta do, so you just get through the day.
After my first, it just became something I needed to do until I went off to training, so it wasn't nothing too big of a hassle.
I was very nervous about basic training because I had never been away from home, so it was kind of scary to be there all by myself, and my expectations were very, very terrifying.
I was very nervous about it, especially when I got separated from people that were from Michigan like me. We all got separated during reception.
I was extremely nervous about basic training. I actually shipped off with a guy that was with me at RSP, so we were both just kind of talking to each other on the plane. We were both really nervous.
Not making it, that was probably my worst fear.
I thought they was gonna be, well, they was yelling at me. They told me I wasn't gonna make it because I was so out of shape.
The drill sergeants.
Being called out, like doing something wrong and being called out in front of everybody about it.
Shipping off was a long day. Very long, nervous, upsetting day. I had my whole family there when I had to leave, when I was leaving from RSP to go to the airport. So it was very sad. I cried that whole day. But once I got to Fort Jackson, I was kind of like, well, I'm here now. Might as well suck it up and just keep going.
So when I first got to the airport, the very last airport where they was gonna take us to our reception, it was a man dressed up in his blues, and I was talking to my mom on the phone, telling her I had landed. He was yelling at me like, "Get off the phone!" I got so scared and hung up on my mama. So I went to the bathroom and called my mama back, and then he was yelling at everybody else who came on their phone.
It was my first time on a plane, so I was nervous about that. All of a sudden, I wasn't a civilian anymore as soon as I got off the plane in Columbia, South Carolina. Because right there was a drill sergeant, and that's when I realized it was real, and I was nervous.
Shipping off was pretty cool. I really haven't flown a lot, but I had a guy that I knew, so we shipped off together at the same time, so I didn't really have no issues to have somebody to talk to going through the same thing.
It sucked. The first day was the worst because you don't get any sleep. I think we went at least 2 days without sleep. We might have gotten an hour of sleep. But after the first 2 days, it was fine. You kind of get used to it. And the last couple of days of reception are the best because you don't wake up anymore in the morning. They just let you sleep at Fort Jackson. So
Reception was hell. No sleep. We had a cool sergeant. I mean, all the sergeants was cool, I guess. Like, you could tell they cool, like, in reality. But they had to be sergeants. They couldn't be cool like they wanted to be.
Long, tiring. Reception is when you get all the stuff you need assigned to you. That's where you get your dental, your medical, your shots. It was a long day. It was long days and rarely had any free time.
Reception was just no sleep at all. It's all right, but you go through filling out thousands of papers, little sleep, sitting in chairs all day. But once you get done with it, it's pretty cool.
Low key, it was fun looking back. When I was there, I hated it, but it was actually kind of fun.
At first, they were scary, but after a couple of weeks, they were the coolest people I had ever met. They were really, really cool. Funny. They always motivated us. It was always a good experience with them. Unless we got in trouble, then it was bad. But other than that, they were really cool.
I hated them at the time, but I like them now. I don't think my sorry. I don't know what to say.
When you talk about your drill sergeant, like what was your experience from start to finish?
Drill Sergeant Grimillion, like you could tell he was genuine. Like he tried to be tough, but like he low key pushed me because I really could not run like at all. Like I would give up on my running, but he was like, just keep going. So I failed my PT test 3 times, but I passed my last one. I always failed my run, but I passed my last run with like a minute to spare. Just because he kept on telling me to keep running, I couldn't do it. I wanted to stop because I didn't think I was gonna pass. Drill Sergeant Herwell, she told me I wasn't gonna make it, so I couldn't run. But that kind of pushed me to do try even harder. My senior drill sergeant, he was hilarious. I hated him at the time, but like he was cool. He had us in friendly in rest position on his very last day because we was his last cycle, and he left 2 weeks before we graduated. So like he put us in friendly in rest position and drove off. My arm was burning because they kept us there for like 10 minutes.
When I got to basic training, my drill sergeants weren't all that bad. I actually really liked my drill sergeants. I was very surprised. There were a few, asshole drill sergeants, but that's their job. But I was very fortunate to have drill sergeants that actually cared about me and my progress and that actually wanted me to pass.
Well, first you'll say they're really intimidating, but then you actually figure out, well, they're intimidating, but they're also like very inspiring. It's more of like a figure that you would try to like look up to, whatever. That's how I found my drill sergeants.
A lot of push-ups, a lot of running. At Fort Jackson, they got this thing called the brown box. Literally every 5 minutes, brown box go, which is run to the brown box, run back. Dragon, go, run to the dragon, run back. Start pushing. It's just a lot of push-ups and a lot of running, a lot of getting yelled at, a lot of messing up. But it was a learning experience. So.
That's the worst phase. The first 3 weeks are the worst because you adapting to all of that crap. They yelling at you. You getting used to eating, pooping, sleeping when they tell you to. And if you got an attitude, that's when they trying to get it out of you. That's when they tell you whether they think you gonna make it or not, based on your attitude. It was hard.
Red phase was a blur of push-ups, drill and ceremony, and just trying to adjust to being away from home for the first time.
Just push-ups all day, every day. They had to break you down, and they done a really good job of it.
I loved white phase because that was BRM, which is marksmanship when you qualify with your rifle, and I loved it. I love shooting out after white phase. I think we did hand grenades then too, but white phase was pretty calm. It was pretty chilled. All they really taught us during white phase was how to shoot because they wanted high BRM. So that's pretty much all we did. So I loved it.
White phase was better. We shot a lot of weapons. Yeah, we shot weapons in white phase. It was fun.
White phase was when we actually got into the physical training. That's when we were actually doing our ruck marches. We started doing marksmanship, and it got a little bit easier, slightly, but it was White phase was the longest part of basic training, so it was just day by day training.
Blue phase was awesome because that's the last phase of basic training, so you know you're almost done. So you pretty much know this is it. This is the last thing you gotta do. All you gotta do is sit around and wait. Like that's pretty much it.
Blue phase. See, blue phase was supposed to be easy for my platoon, but we kept getting in trouble, so it wasn't really that easy for us. And I remember it was this one day, towards the end, they let us eat whatever we wanted at the defect. We had pizza, hot dogs, hamburgers, cake, ice cream, macaroni, greens. It felt like Thanksgiving. And I ate my ass off. And then as soon as we got back to the company, they dropped us and smoked us. Bro, in basic training, you learn how to sleep anywhere, like everywhere. I learned how to sleep standing up. I learned how to fall asleep just anywhere in the most uncomfortable positions. I took like 3 poops a day. And like you learn how to poop so fast because you got 60 girls in your bed and like 15 stalls. So I always ran so I could be the first one to get my poop off.
Blue phase was when it really hit me like, oh shit, I'm about to graduate. So I was very excited during blue phase. Blue phase just kind of flew by. That's where they just pretty much started tightening up anything, last minute training or anything that you had to do. The PT test was the main thing you had to pass. That and the ruck march, the final ruck march. That's about it.
Blue phase was by far the easiest. We already qualified for everything, and we just had inspection. After inspection, we were just pretty much chilling till we got out the door.
I was very excited for graduation because I knew I was done after graduation. That was it. I have to see none of the people no more. I have to see my drill sergeants anymore. I was excited for graduation. It was fun. I was in the front row for graduation because I was short. I'm the shortest one in my platoon, so they put me in the front. So we had a lot of rehearsals, but it was very exciting.
The best day of my life, they threatened to drop us in our dress blues, but they would have had me messed up trying to drop me in my dress blues. I wasn't about to get my shirt dirty.
Graduation was really awesome. Honestly, just to say that you went through all this stuff to get up to this big moment, it really did not disappoint.
I was definitely glad that I knew my ranks. I was glad that I knew the Soldier's Creed, and I was glad that I knew like my face and movements and stuff like that.
How to maintain my hair, not to talk back. You know, I did that a couple times. I got yelled at, and they all surrounded me and made me cry. So I was real frustrated.
I knew what the front leaning rest was. I knew very basic drill and ceremony, like positions like parade rest, position of attention, dress right dress. But yeah, that helped out when in reception, because when you were the only one that called at ease to an NCO, the whole room didn't get smoked. So that was pretty nice to know.
I was glad that I kind of knew DNC due to JROTC. It didn't really play much of a part, but just knowing how to march and calling the cadence, knowing that beforehand actually helped me out a lot.
Mm. I don't know. I don't think I wish I knew anything ahead of time. I think I was pretty much set.
I mean, honestly, it's nothing really to prepare for. You just go in and do it. Like, it's really not that bad. Like, looking back, like, at the moment, I really hated it. But, like, looking back now, I'd be having a whole bunch of great stories to tell people. It was fun. Go ahead.
No, go ahead.
I feel like basic training and A.I.T is the most fun I never want to have again. I like being free now.
I don't think there's pretty much anything I could have known that wasn't already taught. Because basically, when you learn something new in basic, they teach it at pretty much a preschool level. So everyone gets it at the same time. So there's nothing that you can know more than anybody else on the subject.
For sure, I don't know ahead of time. Honestly, there's ain't really nothing that I wish I would have known ahead of time. I said I was pretty straight.
42 Alpha, which is human resources.
I'm a 25 Bravo, information technology specialist.
91 Bravo, a wheeled vehicle mechanic.
I am a 13 Pop, so that's a fire direction specialist working with artillery.
Well, human resources is nothing but a paper pusher. So in A.I.T, we just learn what regulations to look at, what the forms are called that people have to fill out when they step into our office. That's basically all we learn. So we sit in the classroom and look through publications all day.
It was just a whole bunch of computer stuff. Like, I learned how to route and switch. I learned how to basically just build a connection out of nowhere.
I learned how to troubleshoot. That's the basic part of my job.
As a fire direction specialist, we were working with a system called A.I.T, and basically what it is like plotting stuff, like marking lines of fire, working with artillery, rockets, and stuff like that. It's kind of sort of like strategy, battle planning type of thing.
Much better than basic training. In basic, it was 50 girls in a room on bunk beds. We all shared the same bathroom. We shared the same living space. It, it wasn't good. But in A.I.T, it's only 3 of us in a room. And we all each have our own bed, and we all pretty much take care of our own space. So it's a whole lot easier to deal with.
Way better than basic, because instead I didn't live with 60 girls. I lived with 3 in one room, or 2 in one room. It was like a nice size room, a twin size bed. Took some getting used to.
I had a dorm with 2 other females. I actually had a real bed. It was bigger than the one at basic, so that was good. It wasn't bad as long as you just cleaned your room like you're supposed to. Living conditions weren't bad.
A.I.T, I would best refer it to like it's kind of like college dorms. Honestly, you got roommates, and you got a room to yourself with your roommates and your shower and toilet and whatever. It's pretty alright.
Since I stayed at Fort Jackson, the food never changed. It was good in basic training and it's good in A.I.T. The only difference is that I have a choice of what I can eat now. In basic, my drill sergeants always made me. I couldn't have cereal, sugary cereal. I couldn't have syrup. I couldn't have bread. In A.I.T, I can have ice cream. They got pie. They got cookies. They got different choices you can have with different foods. So it was nice.
Like, a lot of people say they didn't like it, but I liked it. But I'm fat, and I like to eat. But like the defect, like low key defect food good, but that's what make you poop. But then like once you phase up, you really like tread away from the defect food unless you cheap. Me, I just rather buy fast food, so that's what I did.
It was a defect. It was the same food every day. Eventually, you got used to it.
A.I.T food was amazing. Food was awesome, way better than basic.
I showered and I slept and I cleaned. That was what I did on my time off.
I drew a lot, or I hung with my friends. We had this place called what was it? The I.T Center. It was like a little club. They played music, had dominoes, and like this other little restaurant in there, and like games, like pool, video games, paddleball, just a whole bunch of stuff. It was like a little hangout. Or I slept, or I tried to stay fit.
I slept a lot.
time off on the weekends when we had pass, do things like go to the gym, go to the store, buy stuff, uh, go swimming, just do or sleep most of the time. That's what I try to do.
It was great. I missed home. 4 months away from home is hard, but it's so nice to be home.
At first, because I got home like 3 weeks ago, at first it took some getting used to, because it was just like, oh my God, I don't got to go to sleep at 9 o'clock. I don't got to wake up at 4 o'clock. I still woke up at 4 o'clock for like the first week and a half, 2 weeks.
Feels good. Don't have to do fire guard.
It's pretty cool, honestly. Going from like having a set schedule to being free again is more of, whoa, it's jarring at first, but it's kind of like how you adapted to being told what to do. You kind of adapt to not being told what to do.
College, I'll be going to Bowling Green in the fall, so I'm very excited about that.
Me, I'm transferring schools, and I'm going to do ROTC and try to become an officer.
College.
Next for me is going to college and trying to make sure I have everything straight with that.
My major is biology.
Marine biology.
Computer science.
Do it. It's fun. You're going to hate it, but you're going to love it. Like, for real. Like, I gained bonds with my sergeants, and I knew which sergeants, like, when I could bring contraband into my room, because he wasn't supposed to have contraband. Like, I got real cool with some sergeants, so they like, be like, okay, go ahead. But like, I'll call everybody else out on it. I miss it sometimes. I miss all my friends. And it's like, even though I was only gone for like 7 months, I gained bonds with people that I only known for like that short amount of time. That's like better than the ones that I've known since I was like little. I miss my friends. And I don't call people friends. They're my friends. I miss my battles.
Don't be afraid to ask questions. If you don't know, you don't know. So just ask it. I've yet to meet an NCO or a CO that's mad at you for asking questions. And that's it.
Anything else you want to add?
Embrace the suck, because it's gonna suck sometimes, but eventually you'll get out of it. That's it.
Honestly, the best advice I can give to future recruits is that you can't quit. Well, it's like the only person that can make you quit is yourself. As long as you're determined, as long as you have a strong will, you don't give up easily, everything will fly by. You're going to have hard times, it's going to suck or whatever at the moment, but honestly, once the sucking's over, you can laugh at the suck back then, so.
Good luck. That's it. Good luck.